these are the steps that I will follow if you want your child to be healthy again. And what I'm trying to say is that our children, they don't get sick because they have that energy to get sick. They get sick out of loyalty because intergenerational trauma was transmitted to them. They get sick because they are following their mother or their father's fate out of love. So you can love me enough. And this is a good example. There is a mother that is always absent. She's never at home. She's working a lot. And the child starts creating these fevers on Fridays, and the mother cannot go to work. She needs to stay with her child. So the child unconsciously has learned that if he creates this symptom, the mother is going to give him the time that he needs, because that's the way that he thinks that she is going to show him love. So that's one way to see it, right? I create a symptom, so I get something from you. When there is a symptom, we need to understand that a symptom creates two things. One, stops you to make something like it prevents you of doing something. You are not doing something because of this symptom. If you got a runny nose, probably you're going to stay home. If you have pain, you're not going to go to the gym. But you can go even farther, right? I remember when I was 18 years old, and in my country, that is Peru, you celebrate your big party when you turn 18. So my birthday is on March 30th, and today is March 18th. Just so you know, it's gonna be my birthday very soon, but I'm not be turning 18th. I'm gonna be turning 44. So I plan all of this party that is gonna be in my house, and I was thinking that I'm going to get drunk. I'm going to invite all these people to my house. Well, a week before this party, I used to live with my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, my maternal aunt, and my mother. My parents were divorced. And I felt so tired. I felt like feverish. And my grandma would say like, I think that you are getting sick. And probably you're not going to have your birthday party. And I said like, no, don't say that to my mom. My mom was a teacher, so she will be coming back home like later. But I lay down and I start having like these little dots, like a little rash. My mom came back and she called my father, and we went to this laboratory and they got me into a blood test. We came back and the lady, the secretary of the lab test, she knew my parents. So she called my dad and said like, don't let your daughter move because her transamines or transaminasas in Spanish, that are the enzymes that you have on your liver, and they determine how your liver is doing. It's very inflamed. And that night, it was my first boyfriend's birthday party. And I really wanted to go now that I think, is because I didn't feel that he was really in love of me, right? So I wanted to go. So my mom said like, you cannot go. You have to say, and I know, I'm going to go to this birthday party. So I started running on the street, and my dad called my father. So my father lived close by. So he grabbed his car, and I'm running to get a taxi, and I'm running to the main street, and I saw my dad's car, and my dad, stop right now. And I was very respectful of my father, but I was very afraid of my father for different reasons. Well, I got into his car, and he's like, no, you have to be confined in your bedroom for 4 weeks or something. And what it prevented me to do, that symptom, is to go to that birthday party, because this boy wasn't in love of me. He was not. I was seeking for a man's love, wherever I could find it. And I was very young, so I really didn't even know anything about love. But also, it allowed me to start writing. It allowed me to start reading more. It allowed me to see that he didn't even call me for my birthday. So he didn't even love me. Like, you're not going to call your girlfriend for her birthday or text her at least. So a symptom gives you two possibilities. You stop doing something, and then you are able to do something else. And when a child gets sick for all the reasons that I told you, but it has another possibility. The possibility of the example that I gave to you is that my mother can see me. But another possibility could be a child who gets a lot of respiratory issues, who cannot breathe, and it allows him to show to the family system that there was someone who died early in life, in past generations, that no one talked about him. Everyone forgot about that uncle Joe, right? Let's say. And he died very early when he was 7 years old, because he got to TBC, tuberculosis, and then it was so painful for the grandmother that she never talked about him. In fact, when they used to ask her, how many children do you have? She will say, I have 3. She will only be counting her daughters, the ones that were alive, but not that Uncle Joe, because he was too little when he died, and she didn't mourn, she didn't grieve that loss. And that's another reason why a child is making a symptom. So me as a mother, or you as a parent, we are the bridge for the symptoms to be created in our children. So our children, they are not the symptoms. We are the symptoms. Our children talk and create the symptoms for the parents or for someone else that is older than them. When someone comes to see me and say, like, my child has this or that, I usually will send an intake form, because if that language that the mother or the father will use is the solution or the root cause for the child's symptom. Usually, you have to, a symptom is to, it doesn't show up immediately in the physical body. It has to go through different subtle bodies, the energetic body, emotional body, auric field, right? To get into the physical symptom. Once the symptom is showing and is active and is acute, it's usually to be released, because look, I went through this, and you never handle it. You didn't do anything with it. A child also could create a symptom because he was born after a previous sibling died. He is a replacement child. And a replacement child will be someone that is named after a sibling was died, someone who purposely was born after, so you will do what your brother couldn't do. So you are born so you can finish this business that your grandfather couldn't. I'm replacing someone purposely in the meaning that they are giving me for me to be born in this family system is to replace someone, not for me to do something by myself, something new. No. So when we see a symptom, and this is in a systemic context, and the systemic context is in the family that I live in, we have to see the energy of the symptom. How is this energy presenting? So if I ask you and I say, think about something that really hurt you when you were little, and you go to that moment, and then I said you say like, oh, I fell off my bike and I hurt my knee, and my mother started yelling at me. So I would ask, and how does that pain feels? Is it big or small? Can you put it a color? How does your body feels? Is there a specific part besides the knee where you can feel it? And the person could tell you, no, yeah, I feel my throat choking. I feel the pain on my knee, but also my throat. Well, probably because he couldn't yell back to his mother and say like, hey, I don't want you to yell at me right now. I need support. It really hurts me. You are my mom. You're not supposed to be yelling at me when I'm in pain. You can yell at me or tell me a whole sermon later, not now. So when you start identifying and put it somatically in the body, what is this symptom showing? How is this symptom? Is it big? Is it small? Is it black? Right? A person could come and tell you, I just saw someone actually, and I say, and the person was coming because he has had issues with his father the whole life. The father was addicted. The father also was very abusive, was not available. And the mother was in that story that the mother is telling me, right? And the son comes and he said, I was petrified of my father. Look at this word. I was petrified of my father. And I was like, who was your support while you were little? He's like, I didn't have any support. And I was like, if you were petrified of your father, what about your mother? And he said this, I was as petrified of my mother as I was of my father. And then I say, if you put it in percentage and you say 60, 40, 50, 50, 20, 80, what would you say? He said 50-50. And that's the part of the mother. If I only listened to the mother to heal her son, I would have been wrong. Because from her perspective, she was available and she loved her son, which I think that she did. But from his lenses, that was not true. He was afraid of the mother and the father, and they made him petrified. That's what every single symptom that he presents now is connected to a lack of chi, a lack of life. He's always cold, he doesn't work, he cannot be still, he's afraid of many things, he cannot have relationships, cannot find a job. All the things are telling me, look, I'm not living full of life, I'm living full of death, right? I'm petrified. Petrified is cold. Petrified doesn't allow you to move. I wanted to make this video to let you know my insight, and to wrap it up, if I know that my child is creating a symptom because I'm the bridge to that symptom, I have to auto-analyze myself. How was my pregnancy? How was the conception of this child? Was I getting along with his father or with her father, or we as a couple were getting along? Did I feel supported? How was the birth process? How were the first 7 years or the first years or the first days of life of my child? Were we together or we needed to be apart for some reason? Even if it's a justified reason that he needed to get some treatment or you needed to get some treatment, if there was a separation, think about that. Now, think about also the symptoms of your child, where they are, if there is any cycle on these symptoms. Sometimes a child gets a symptom always around Father's Day, around Mother's Day, around Christmas, around his birthday. Why? Who else was born or what situations happened during these dates? Or maybe they happened to me. Now you're going to start narrowing the root cause, the energetic root cause, the ancestral root cause, the emotional root cause. And now you can finally say to your child, if it's necessary, if that's the case, I'll take it with me. You don't have to carry anything from me. For me, you can also say to your child, let go of the weight. It doesn't belong to you. These are all healing statements. And healing statements has a vibrational frequency that allows to heal. And they stay vibrating in the field of your child, but also your field and the whole family field. You can also say, choose life. Take life from me if you are one of the parents. And now you can see what is the somatic reaction of your child. Now, if a child is creating a symptom, what happened to you? Because maybe the same symptom that your child started having when he was 3 years old, you started having something similar when you were 3 years old, or your parents get divorced. And he's just repeating that cycle. If you want to know more, I do one-on-one sessions in family constellations and cycle breaking. I also have my upcoming course in cycle breaking starting on July 10th until September 19th. We join online twice a month. And if you want to know more, just send me a message or you can go to my website, iamama.org. Thank you.